The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where you will find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. If I ever got that first statement right, I think everybody would turn off their radio because they would think somebody else is sitting here. So it's by accident, strictly, but it calls attention to what we're doing. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom located in the Waikapu Base Yard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. And today we're going to start off our show talking to a couple of folks from Maui United Way. Woohoo. It's been a while since we've had Maui United Way on the air. It has.
It been a while?
Maybe last year the same time. I don't know. We're talking with now. Carrie, you're fairly new to this position.
I am. I came on board at the end of April.
End of April, so that gives you what, 4 months, 5
Yeah.
months? Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow!
Throw me in there.
You've had to hustle. We have Carrie Luna Nunakawa.
Very good.
Yes. Okay. Who is the Chief Professional Officer of Maui United Way, and how are you doing?
I'm good. I know. I think we're the only nonprofit that doesn't use the term executive director, but it's president and CPO. And I always feel weird saying CPO, like I want to say C-3PO, like Star Wars.
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right.
It's such a mouthful. It's a little much. But
right.
Yeah, I've been there for just about 5 months now. So.
And what drew you to Maui United Way?
So Maui United Way has been so prevalent in our community for so long. It was originally known as the Community Chest. And we officially became a nonprofit and got the title of Maui United Way, which is great because we're part of United Way Worldwide as well, which is a great nationally and actually internationally known nonprofit organization that does a lot of good work in the community. But like I was telling you earlier, I'm a Maui girl, born and raised here, and have always been really vested in the community. Nonprofits really helped to raise me and shape who I am today. And so I always wanted to give back. And I was previously in the education field, and I was going through some transition, not really knowing where my career was going. And it was funny enough, my husband was like, if you could do anything, what would you do? I said, I would love to just work for a nonprofit. He goes, like, for free? And I go, well, yeah, if I could just volunteer, that would be awesome. He goes, well, we kind of need money to live. And so I kind of just threw it out in the universe. And lo and behold, this position came up, and I was fortunate enough that I convinced the board that I was the right candidate for this position, and I'm loving it. I love being part of the community every day and seeing differences made in people's lives every day, and being part of Maui United Way is just amazing and awesome, and I'm so grateful.
We just recorded that, and we're going to play that back in about 3 years and see if that's
okay.
still how you feel about it.
Okay.
I'm
no,
kidding.
I'm sure it will be. It definitely will be, for sure.
It's certainly got the variety.
Yeah.
A lot of us have our own nonprofits that we work for that may or may not be part of the United Way system, but we do certain things, and sometimes it's by rote almost. After a few years, it's like, oh, it's April, we got to do this, or so-and-so walked in the door and needs that. Here's how we do it.
Right.
But when it comes to Maui United Way, it's a whole nother ballgame because you never know what's going to walk in the door.
You never know. And what's great about Maui United Way is that we're really trying to make systematic changes in our community to move the entire community forward. So the 3 pillars that we always talk about that our community really needs is education, good quality education, access to good quality education, health, maintaining good health, and then income and sustainability. And that's a huge one for Maui County because homelessness is a really big problem. Even finding rentals that are, within people's budgets is very difficult here. In fact, I think the Maui News ran an article a few weeks ago about how home prices are in the median 700,000s now. I mean, how do families do that? It's crazy. It's so expensive.
There's some mysterious formula out there that seems to work for some people.
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out.
Well, that's why people have multiple jobs. I mean, and
At least, yes.
Yeah, at least to try to just make ends meet. And so I feel very fortunate to be part of Maui United Way, where we can help to educate and help to provide good quality health services and access to that, and then also to have families get educated about what it means to be sustainable, where they can go if they fall short, things like that. So it's a great resource. It's bringing the community together, and it's also trying to solve problems in a systematic way to move everybody forward.
Wow. That's a bucket load?
It's huge.
A bushel load.
It's huge.
It's a big challenge. Now, you've brought somebody with you today that helps you big time with that challenge.
I did, and I have Angela Stewart here with us, and she is our community and events coordinator.
Yes. Hi, I'm Angela Stewart. We are actually kicking off our campaign September 1st.
Ooh,
it runs
2
from,
days from
yes.
now.
We had our campaign coordinator training this morning, which was a great turnout.
Good turnout. Angela
And-
did a great job. She put together this huge training event. We had it at the MAC, and it was awesome.
Yeah, getting everybody excited for the campaign. It runs from September 1st through October 31st. However, people can still run their campaign through April 30th.
Yep.
And currently we have over 300 companies, organizations, and government agencies that participate annually. And so we're really looking forward to getting that rolling.
So our goal is to really surpass the amount of services and people served from last year, and we've served and provided over 62,000 services.
Wow.
To just Maui County. So Maui County, as you know, we're Tri-Isle. We include Molokai and Lanai. So, yeah, it's a lot, and we're hoping to surpass that for sure.
Now, when you say 62,000 services, this is services to 62,000 people, or in some form or another?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That is.
So two of the other things that Maui United Way does, and when we partner with some of our partner agencies, is our Tools for School drive, which just closed because school just started a couple weeks ago. And we were able to meet 75% of Maui County's needs. I believe, aside from the Rotaries and I think Kiwanis, which we weren't really sure who was doing school drives, we were the only nonprofit organization to do a school drive this year. And Makana, who is also one of our employees at Maui United Way, she is our what is her official title?
Community
Her Community
Impact
Impact
Coordinator.
Coordinator.
Yes.
That's right. And she headed up along with Jolie Correa, who is a student at Maui High School. I think she's a sophomore this year. But she organized the Tools for School drive, and we were able to meet 75% of our nonprofit partners that came in and requested school supplies for their clients.
Wow. I noticed on your website it talked about 11,000 supplies.
Oh, it was
We're talking
huge.
everything from pencils to notebooks to
Rulers,
backpacks to rulers.
backpacks.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the backpacks were huge, and we got awesome donations from some of the hotels and things like that. So we were really grateful that the entire community came out to support our keiki and make sure they all got started on the right foot. I mean, who doesn't want to walk into school with maybe an old backpack or and not have the supplies that they need, and so they can show up and have everything that they need to get started on the right foot.
There you go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's so important to the kids to have that, to be on a level with everybody else.
Exactly.
And not be looking up to them to what they've got versus what they
Right.
don't have.
Exactly. And my my whole family is involved in education, and my sister-in-law is a teacher at Kahului School, and last year she had second graders, and there were about 3 just in her classroom that were homeless. And it's really sad because you never know. They didn't know if when they went home if they would have dinner. They didn't know where they were sleeping that night, and they come, to school not really sure and not prepared and not being able to put their best thoughts into what they're supposed to be learning. I mean, they're facing so many other challenges,
Well, it just goes to prove the theory that if you have a roof over your head, everything else is easier. But I can't imagine being a teacher and knowing that you've got 3 kids there that you don't know where they're coming from in the morning and where they're going to at night.
Yeah, it's hard. Sure.
And I know that, for those of you out there who are listening, we say a lot of times that can't be here.
Oh, it's here.
We don't have that here, but we do.
We do. What's interesting, Maui Economic Opportunity, MEO, just did a countywide needs assessment for Maui County. And the 3 big things that came out that we are struggling with on Maui is homelessness, education, and health.
Wow. In that order?
Yep.
Well, that's incredible. So health from the standpoint of not being able to...
Access to health care.
Access, okay.
Yep. And quality health care for sure. So that's a big concern, especially for our kupuna. Yeah.
Right. So homelessness, what was the second one?
Education.
Wow. Okay. And then health.
Interesting. And it was, I guess, reassuring for us at Maui United Way to see that and see those results, because those are the 3 pillars that we target in our, when we partner with our agencies.
I remember years ago when United Way went to that system. Prior to that, it was kind of anything and everything, whatever the greatest need was or whatever the agencies that were members did. And I remember going to a couple of the community meetings where they were talking about what would you pick as a priority.
Right.
And I guess we were for like focus groups or something. And that was an interesting endeavor.
For sure.
I went to a couple of those and was involved in that. And when the results came out, it was like, duh.
Yeah.
That's the things we all talk about, but we try to shy away from.
But you have to talk about it. The first thing is about bringing awareness and making sure everybody knows what the community needs are. Because I really feel people want to help and people want to give, and they want to be able to support their friends, their families, their neighbors, because at some point in everyone's lives, they're going to either use these services or know someone that needs to use these services. I know I've used several of these of our partner agency services growing up and in my adult life, and I cannot stress how important it is to support these organizations. And the easiest way really is through our campaign, through our payroll deduction, because you don't even notice. If you give $5 every paycheck, at the end of the year, if you get paid twice a month, you've donated $120, and that $120 can be stretched among those 32 partner agencies providing these services to our community, to our friends, to our family. And that's where the real difference is made, for sure.
Right. And you've got such a broad range of member agencies.
Yes.
It covers just about everything out there,
right,
one way or another. And they can also, if they want, they can designate.
Yes, 100%. They can designate 100% of where they want to donate. If they have an agency that is near and dear to their heart, they can definitely do a designation, and 100% of that goes to that agency. One of the myths I think that's out there about Maui United Way is really, if you're raising money for these nonprofits, then how come they have to raise money too? And the thing is that we're raising money for specific programs that these partner agencies do. And these programs are targeted at the most vital needs for Maui County. The nonprofits have other programs and have administrative costs and things like that they also need to raise funds for too. So we're trying to ease their burden a little bit. And if the community can come out and really support Maui United Way with their efforts, then that makes a huge difference for all the nonprofits that are partner agencies and our associated agencies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got to take a short break. We'll be right
Okay.
back. We'll talk about those associated agencies in a minute.
Awesome.
Okay.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community and within their specific agency and mission and purpose and all those good things. Now, Maui United Way encompasses so many different agencies. And I like what you said before the break, where you've got the specific things that you do and that you fill in the gaps for as funding level. But the other agencies have many more programs.
Absolutely.
And that's why they have to do their own fundraising, because you're right. There's a lot of people who say, well, if I give to Maui United Way, I don't have to give anything else. I'm done.
Right.
And I think the bottom line, what we're saying is, no, it's just part of the bottom line.
Exactly. And like we said, if you have an agency that is near and dear to your heart, you definitely can write that agency in, and it's 100% pass through, and it'll go directly to that agency. One of the great things about Maui United Way is that we vetted all of these nonprofit agencies, so you can be sure that they have sound financials, they have a solid board, a supportive board, because that's what's a big part of nonprofit life, is having that board support. Because we can't do it all alone. We're all operating on skeleton staff, I believe.
Really?
Oh
my gosh.
I mean, we all take on so many different hats and roles in our nonprofit organizations. And so to have a supportive board really makes all the difference. So you can definitely write in an agency as well, and the money will go to them.
Very good. So now this September 1 kickoff, this is for the folks who go out to the various businesses and try and hand out your materials and try to get the employees excited about taking some donation, small or big, whatever the case, out of their weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly paychecks.
Right. And what was really cool too is we had Macy's is one of our big supporters as well, and they actually ran a campaign just ahead of the September 1st launch, and they already surpassed what their goal was. So it was above and beyond what they gave last year, which is great. But they do a lot of different opportunities for employees to participate and engage in what their fundraising tactics are. So we call it fun, not fund, fun.
Right.
Fundraising. So like they did a market swap where people who grew vegetables or herbs at home came in and they were selling that. They did a old CD buyback kind of thing. It was really cool. They have a lot of different little ideas. They did a smoothie day for their employees. They could buy managers' time, which I thought was really cool.
Whoa.
I know. So fun.
Interesting.
I know. So if any company out there that you do not have a Maui United Way campaign going right now, please contact us at Maui United Way. We're at 244-8787. 244-8787, and we would be happy to come talk with you. Even if you're just interested, we would love to just come talk to you and get you started. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's I think Maui United Way is one of those agencies where we know enough about them to, we think, understand what they do, and yet we don't know the intricacies of how it works and how we can really be sure the money goes where we want it to go and where you're saying it goes.
Yeah.
All we see at the end of the campaign when the committee has met and divvied up the funds, how much goes to different agencies.
So there are committees,
Okay.
not just one committee.
Okay.
And these are all volunteer community members that get together. They go visit each of our partner agencies. Our partner agencies come in and they have an interview process. There's a grant application that they fill out. So they have all the volunteers all know what the financials are. They all know what the board is like. They go for a site visit. They do the interview, and that's the community decides that. The staff at Maui United, we have nothing to do with the allocation process at all. It's all community driven, which I think is so important. And the only thing that we do as staff really is arranging for the visits, arranging for the interviews, and getting the applications in, and really vetting the nonprofit first. So assuring that they actually are a nonprofit, that their financials are sound, and then we do follow up. So whatever money that we allocate, they have to report back to us of what they did, because they do have to meet certain numbers, certain benchmarks that they've set with the number of or with the amount that we've given them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if an agency would like to get on your list, now it's too late obviously for this round, but for like next year,
so
what do they do?
We're on a 2-year allocation process.
Okay.
So it would be 2019.
Oh, so this is the first of the 2 years.
Yep. This is the first of the 2 years.
And so it's the allocation is based on how much you get in each of the 2 years.
Exactly.
So just because there's X amount of money this year doesn't mean it's going to be the same next year.
So that's why we have to try to really meet and beat, because it'd be great if we can beat it so that we can bump up our nonprofits in their allocations and what they're getting for sure.
Interesting. Well, everybody keeps talking about the economy's good.
I know.
It should be a good year.
I hope so. So one of the things I do want to say that's coming up is our holiday toy drive, and we partner with the Friends of the Children's Justice Center for that. And Macy's actually graciously just told us, hey, give us some boxes. We want to put them all over our department store and be part of that. So that's a nice little addition, and if anybody wants to do that at their company as well, we'd greatly appreciate it. But last year we had over 2,100 toys distributed to our families that are in need, and so that kids, when they wake up on Christmas morning, have something to open.
Now, when we talk about this toy drive, we're talking about new toys.
New unused toys.
Unused, in the box, not wrapped.
Not wrapped, yes.
Because you have to take a look at them.
Yeah, we can take a look at them, and then we can we put them in categories like age appropriate.
Gotcha.
Categories. And
So
things.
when will those boxes get put up?
They start in November, I believe, end of November.
Okay, so you're not one of those that starts in September for Christmas.
Oh, no. I know. All the Halloween things are out already, and then I know even before Halloween, Thanksgiving will be up, and I'm going to be like, everything's going so fast.
Here we go. So
I know.
The drive that starts September 1 lasts for 2 months.
Yes,
basically.
It goes until October 31st, and that's the workplace campaign. However, we do extend that until April 30th, so if people need extra time to run their campaigns in their companies and organizations, we definitely give them that extra time that they need.
One of the big things that why we have that October 31st is for our state and county employees, because when they do payroll deductions, we need to get it in before the November 30th deadline that their personnel department has, because the payroll deduction starts January 1st.
Oh, I see.
So that's
Okay.
why. But technically, our campaign is from September 1st through April 30th.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's more like what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it better.
Yes.
But now,
absolutely.
actually, the funds are given out to the agencies then when?
So we distribute. We start looking at everything in May, and they get and awarded June, and then their first distribution is in July.
Okay. So it's almost a year away when the funds are given out. Okay. when actually the funds are
Yeah,
received.
exactly.
Well, that's long-term planning. I wonder if I do any long-term planning that long. I kind of have trouble with tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a lot of long-term planning for sure.
That's great. Any last-minute comments you want to make? We're just about at the bottom of the hour here.
Wow, that went by so fast.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, so
That's because you love what you do.
I do. I can
can
keep
hear it in
talking
your
about
voice.
Maui United Way forever. And honestly, we're just appealing to our community to really invest back in your community and give. Please give, advocate, volunteer, whatever way you can, time, talent, treasure. It all is amazing and so helpful to everyone. And we mahalo our Maui community for sure.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Thanks, Susie.
Thank you.
Thank
Angela.
you.
Angela.
Yes.
Have a great year. It sounds like it's going to be.
I'm excited.
Now, one last question. In your team that goes out, now these are volunteers from businesses themselves.
Yeah.
Who come and get together.
We even have students.
Oh yeah. And then they like take time off from their job
Exactly.
to go out and talk to other businesses and make presentations and so forth.
They can, but that's what we're here for too. And we would love to come out and talk with you. And we even bring along one of our partner agencies so that they can understand and their employees can understand exactly what agencies are doing and what their role is in our community.
Gotcha. Great, terrific. Hey, here's to a successful campaign.
Thank
you
you.
so
Thanks,
much.
Susie.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
And maybe before we hit the holiday season, we can talk about the toys.
Yeah,
drive,
that'd be fun.
sometime in November.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put that thought
I
on
will
your
put
calendar.
that thought in my calendar.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Good to,
Mahalo.
good to meet you, Angela. And Carrie, we've seen you at some meetings,
Oh yeah,
and we're glad to have you on board.
I know it's fun. It's
Is
a fun
it?
group, the Maui Nonprofit Directors.
Yeah, it is.
Super fun
Yeah.
group.
And yet we learn something from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. Go
Yeah.
figure.
That's the best way to learn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you much. Have
Thank
a great
you.
day.
You too. Aloha.
Okay, we're going to shift gears now, and we're going to talk to Lisa Varde, who is the executive director of the Maui Memorial Medical Center Foundation. It's still around, huh?
We're still here. This is actually our 20th anniversary year. of
Is it
the
really? Oh,
hospital
that's
foundation.
right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, last time you were on, you had Wes Lowe with you.
Yes,
who
I
was he hadn't announced he was leaving or anything like that, but the transition was happening. It got delayed.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about the transition, we're talking about the transition of the hospital services from being state operated to being operated by some other entity,
Yes.
which at that point, I guess at that point it had been decided.
Yes.
There were two different agencies or organizations that had put in bids for it, and Maui Health Systems won it, and they
Yes.
are a division of Kaiser Permanente.
Yep. You know everything, Susie.
Well, that's
Got
because
it
you guys
all.
did such a good job when you were here last time. Some of the stuff stays up here, and she says, pointing to her forehead, or the back of the head. I don't know where it stays, but it's there
in
somewhere. The trick is to pull it up at the appropriate time. You understand?
Yeah.
That's why we have a sign-up sheet for the radio show, so I have some
Doing good,
time.
Susie.
Anyway, so one of the big questions that has come up is, are we always going to have the Maui Memorial Medical Center?
Yes, definitely.
That is the name.
Our hospital in Wailuku on Mahalani Street is Maui Memorial Medical Center, and it will always be Maui Memorial Medical Center. But we are part of a system, Maui Health System, and that also includes Kula Hospital and Lanai Community Hospital.
Right. And that is what is being operated under the arm of Maui Health Systems.
Yes.
Which, as I said earlier, is a division or a part of Kaiser Permanente.
Yes.
The question that I think a lot of people had was, I think asked over and over by a lot of folks was, what about the employees? Were they taken care of appropriately in this transition?
They were. And the state, you probably remember there was a bunch of legislation that had to get passed, but they did get taken care of during the transition. and they were all afforded great employment packages by Maui Health System. Like 95% of employees accepted the job offer from Maui Health Systems from
Stayed
the
on.
previous state employer.
Cool. That's unreal. I'll bet that breaks a record of some sort for this kind of, if there was ever a deal like this put together before.
Yeah, and yet there still are, about 300 vacancies that we're trying to fill. We're actively hiring for all positions, nurses, physicians, all clerks, all across the board, because we want permanent people. We want Maui residents. We want local people here instead of depending so heavily on travelers.
Right. I know that was a big thing through the years, that they had to bring in folks who would come and spend, what was the minimum, 6 months or something? And they supplied them with housing and all kinds of extra incentives for coming. And then as soon as they got really into it, they're gone, because they've been here long enough to realize what it's going to cost to stay here, right? And that of course is something that hits with a lot of the doctors that come here thinking they can make this happen, and then after a year or so they just say, we can't do it.
Yeah, there's a shortage everywhere of nurses and physicians throughout the state, throughout the nation. But what Kaiser and Maui Health System bring is added reach for recruiting, and able to recruit for different positions that the state just didn't really have the time or expertise or funding to be doing that.
Gotcha. So Kaiser is basically what? California? How far into the mainland do they go?
It's mostly West Coast.
Okay. Okay.
Mostly in the West Coast.
I'm not familiar with Kaiser that much, but I knew they were there, but I didn't know how large they were.
Yeah, they have over 30 other hospitals that they operate.
Okay.
So we're not the only one.
They
So
kind of know what they're doing.
They do. And a lot of people say, though, Kaiser's coming in, so we don't need to support. Why do we need to support the foundation? They've got, unlimited checkbook. They can just be writing checks. But that's not true. They have other, like I said, they have other hospitals that they operate. They really are community-based, and they saw the need here. They wanted to help the community here to have access to better health care. So that was one of the reasons why they came in. But Maui Health System, like you said, is a separate nonprofit entity, and they're tasked with achieving, a 1 to 2% margin every year. So just on their own, they're not going to be constantly infused with Kaiser funds. So it's really a community effort to support the hospital.
Well, and initially they were charged with putting in quite a bit of cash.
They did.
To pull the hospital out of the situation it was in, where it was behind on payments to vendors and lots of other things. So there was a lot of cash involved in the initial transition. So if one of the things that I saw was there was $20 million for state-of-the-art electronic medical record systems, their investment of $5 million per year through 2025 for capital improvements, and $30 million line of credit to support working capital and cash flow. That's a lot of money to put up for a contract that's never been tested.
Yeah, and Kaiser's really looking to us to be a model for the rest of the country, because they want to continue working with community hospitals like this. And this is the first time they've done it, and they want to use it as a model for other hospitals.
So the other hospitals they operate are in their system?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's quite a challenge. Of course, Hawaii's been first in a couple of things over the years, so we can set the stage for it.
Yes, we can. We can do it.
But in the meantime, you guys are still responsible for handling the things that don't fall into the usual purchases.
Exactly.
And you're working right now on a project.
We are. We're working. It's almost October, so we're working, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're partnering again with Queen Ka'ahumanu Center and Rosalani Ice Cream, Maui Soda and Ice Works on our second annual Kokua for Coconuts Breast Cancer Walk.
Coconuts.
Yeah.
That's Kokonuts.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I go, what, Lisa? What are you doing?
Yeah. That was the final name we decided on. We came up with a whole bunch of other ones that are not appropriate for, for the radio. But this is the family-friendly name of
Gotcha.
our event.
That's very good. Very good. So, so now this event's coming up on October 14th. We're looking at 6 weeks away.
Yes, it's coming up. It's a walk through the mall, and it's appropriate for all ages. People can collect pledges. We have pledge forms available on our website and at the mall's guest services kiosk. And all proceeds benefit our breast cancer screening program, where we fund mammograms and ultrasounds for Maui women who are uninsured or underinsured and they can't afford the copay.
Right, right. We got to take a short break. We'll be right back and talk a little bit more about Kokua for cocoa nuts.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our executive directors and their staff to find out what's happening in their world. And we've got, I'm not going to say it again, I almost did, but you know what the heck. We got cocoa nuts flying around over here. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall at that discussion.
It was after 5 p.m. We were getting a little slap happy.
After a full day of work, it's all you need is try to name something like this, right?
Really.
Lisa, your sense of humor is so great. I love it. So now this is, as you said, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and one of the pieces of equipment that you do not have at the hospital that you're looking for looks like it's a Faxitron surgical imaging system.
Yes.
For the operating room. Tell us what that will allow to happen.
Yes, and you're right. We do not have one here, but they do have that on hospitals on Oahu. And I'm always a big believer that we should have whatever Oahu has because we are equally as important, or if not more important, than people on Oahu.
That's why you lead the foundation, because that's who's got to buy these things.
But yeah, this equipment is for the operating room. It's specifically for breast cancer. So it helps the surgeon determine on a biopsy if enough tissue was removed. So if all the margins are clear. So right now what has to happen during a biopsy is the tissue has to be sent off to radiology, which takes a lot of time. And the patient is under anesthesia. You're taking up It's a safety concern, it's taking up time in the OR. So this allows the sample to be analyzed right in the operating room. So it saves time and money and is more safe for the patient.
Wow, that's great. So the cost of the equipment's $85,000. Are we getting close to it?
We're on our way.
I got you. Wait, she's being non-committal on this one.
We are on our way. It would be great if we could raise that whole amount from our walk.
Is that a possibility?
I hope so.
There you go.
So.
Okay, well, it's the second annual, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're talking, this is something that the whole family can come out and do together, yeah?
It is. And we're lucky that the mall chose us to partner with them on this event. And like I said, it's a walk through the mall. So you've got strollers, we've got wheelchairs, people with walkers, and you have to do 4 laps. And you get a stamp card. You get stamped every time you do a lap, and then you're entered to win all kinds of cool prizes. Last year we had Neighbor Island trips, and hotel stays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've got really good prizes.
So now, is this one of those things where you sign up other people to sponsor you?
Yeah, we have walker forms, and the minimum amount required is just $35. So
Okay.
some people just pay the $35, or they get sponsors, like you said, to sponsor
Cool.
them on the walk. And then everybody who turns in their walker form also gets a nice, beautiful pink T-shirt.
Wow.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
people
say
love
Kokua for
t-shirts.
coconuts,
It
does
does.
it? It
Yes,
does.
it
Oh,
does.
okay. I may have to enter this to see one of those T-shirts. So, and it's from 8:30 to 10 in the morning, so it's actually before the stores are really formally
It is
open.
right when it's ending is when the stores are opening.
Right. So it's not super congested unless everybody comes out and walks.
I hope they will.
Yeah, it's a leisurely thing. I mean, you're
It
not
is.
looking at
There's
speed.
a few
speed walkers?
hardcore people that are running.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, there were. But
That's
it is
cool.
not a race.
Yeah, it's not a race. You don't win anything extra for
No.
coming in first. That's cool. And I would imagine that the atmosphere is one of fun and
Yeah, we have a lot of great entertainment, music, and we have crafts for the kids, projects. We've got a lot of the characters from the mall, like Hello Kitty and the Sweet Frog mascot and the panda from Panda Express. They all come out and join in the fun.
Cool, good. Has anybody gotten any of them to walk the distance?
Last year, I think Hello Kitty did quite a few laps.
Really?
I don't know if she did them all. It was hot last year.
Yeah?
It was
Wow.
hot, but she did do some laps.
Interesting fun. Interesting fun. So, okay, so that's coming up on Saturday, October 14th, Queen Ka'ahumanu Mall. Give Lisa a call at 242-2630
Yes.
for more information.
Yes.
Or go to, they can email you.
They can email me, lisa.vardy@kp.org, or also you can pick up walker forms at the guest services desk at Queen Kahumanu Center also.
Gotcha. Wow, that's neat. Very neat. So now some of the things that you have purchased for the hospital, can you give me a quick rundown on some of the most recent purchases?
Sure. Most recent equipment we've purchased is we purchased 4 new infant warmers for the OB department. The ones they had previously were old. So, I mean, the hospital they have equipment, but a lot of times it needs to be updated to keep up with technology, and they don't always have the budget to have the latest equipment. So that's where we come in. Or they have a small quantity, but they need more. So that's a lot of what we do also.
Now, you also help with some of the education and outreach programs that the hospital puts on?
We do. We're at a lot of the community health fairs. And for example, we have a booth at the Charity Walk, the Visitor Industry Charity Walk, and we do health screenings there, blood pressure and glucose.
Is that before the walk or after?
It's after. It's after the walk.
Woo! Okay.
Yeah. And we do also have a number of patient assistance funds. So, you know how Carrie was saying with Maui United Way, there's a great need in our community. And, you know, a lot of patients come through the hospital that are homeless. They come to the emergency room and they're in and out, and they keep coming back. So we do have funds available that we use to help them to be discharged safely. A lot of times they'll need medical equipment like a walker or wheelchair, or they need medication that they can't afford to pay for. So we help with those things so that they're able to be discharged in a safe way.
So anybody that comes to the emergency room is helped?
Yes.
Everybody's helped.
Everybody
Nobody's
is
turned
always
away.
helped. No, nobody is ever turned away.
Okay. And that's regardless of ability to pay or insurance or
Yes.
anything. Which is that by state law?
We are designated as a safety net hospital, but also just because we are the only one on Maui,
Maui,
so
yeah.
Where
else
it's part
would
of
they
our
go?
mission to take care of everybody. And I know that was a concern when we had the transition with Kaiser and Maui Health System. People thought, oh no, wait, do I have to be a Kaiser member? You're only going to see Kaiser patients. A lot of people were worried about that, but that's not the case. It's still a community hospital.
I know some people say that when they call their doctor's office, like after hours or something, the message on the phone is, if this is an emergency, hang up and go straight to the hospital, or go straight to the emergency room, or call 911 for an ambulance or whatever. And I know our ambulance service, I think our ambulance service is great.
They are.
I've heard so many good stories about how they've been able to help people and
Yes.
and kind of act like a traveling emergency room at some point.
They really are.
Yeah.
We have a great AMR is the ambulance company, and they're all awesome. They're really good. Another project that the foundation partnered with ambulances with is we purchased wireless EKG machines for all of the ambulances on Maui, so that if a patient is having a heart issue in the ambulance, they're able to take their vitals, and it's sent wirelessly to the emergency room. So the doctors can look and see, and they can assemble the team if they need to. So they're ready by the time they get there.
Wow, that saves a lot of time.
It does. That's
And may save
another.
lives.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does. And that's another thing that they had on Oahu, in all their ambulances there. And we said, we need that here. How come we don't have that here?
Right, right. I can see that as a big time saver, because they know who's coming in. They know not necessarily who's coming in, but
Yeah.
what the condition of
Exactly.
that person is.
Saves a lot of time.
And they don't have to go through it and there. What was the other thing that I noticed, again, when I had that friend that was in the emergency room? The traveling x-ray machine.
Oh,
It's like, what is that? That's an x-ray machine. You got to be kidding. He's pushing his cart. And
traveling extra. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought,
Yeah.
whoa, no longer do you have to go down the hall, sit and wait for your turn to go in the room and have your x-ray.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably had that before the transition, but it's,
That is a great piece of equipment.
yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense. Because once you get somebody somewhat stabilized and you need another x-ray to see what's happening, it's I don't know, just something about it just
I know.
it was cool.
It is
You know,
cool.
I guess because I've been one of those who sat in line.
I know.
to go
Everybody
get an
has.
X-ray. Yeah.
Everybody has. Everybody's been to the hospital or knows somebody that's been
Right.
there. So it really affects all of us.
Yeah, for sure. So the foundation, you say we're talking how many years? 20?
20 years.
20 years. So you've been there, what, 6?
Yep. This is my 7th.
7th year?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, what would you look at and say this is one of our greatest accomplishments?
In my time.
Yeah.
That since
or in the time of the foundation.
one of the really biggest ones that's had the most significant impact is we were really involved with the legislative process, with the bill that needed to be passed in order for the hospital, for the state hospital, to partner with another nonprofit entity. The legislative process is so complex, and it went on for years and years, but the foundation was really able to mobilize a lot of our supporters and donors and people that supported the hospital, and we signed petitions, we did letter signing, we went to the Capitol and lobbied and testified at hearings. So we really did a lot to help to get that passed so that we could even get to this point where we are today.
I gotcha. Okay, so it's people. Working with people, it's not always all about money.
No.
Yeah.
And that's another great thing about the foundation is we're really a part of the community, and we try to represent the needs of the community to the hospital and vice versa.
Terrific. That's great. Is there some big project looming out there that you're eyeing for the future?
There's so many
Where do I start?
big projects, but it's been about 2 months since the transition happened, so we're just looking forward to working with Maui Health System and the new administrators there, to partnering together and really being integrated as part of the hospital.
Is the now there weren't a whole lot of new employees that came in since so many stayed.
Yes.
Uh, But again, from that one observation that I had, it looked like, I mean, you couldn't tell who was who if somebody was brand new or had been
Yeah.
there for 20 years.
That's true.
But yet everybody jumped to the occasion. It seemed
did.
like they cared.
They did.
It was a pretty busy night. It was a Friday night, of course. And, that's probably the time when everybody...
So your friend was there on that night?
Yeah,
of the-
actually,
the day?
it was an interesting situation. She ended up going in on a Friday night up at Kula Hospital because she was up closer to there when she had this experience. And then she was there being evaluated by them for a couple hours, 3-4 hours maybe. And then they called for the ambulance to take her down because they had done everything they could given their resources.
Yeah.
And they felt that she needed more attention, so they sent her down to the emergency room, and they did another analysis of what was going on, and they admitted her overnight. And then she got out that afternoon,
And that was July 1st?
no, it wasn't much after that, but I mean, it was under the new system, and it was interesting to hear the comments about how they were still trying to get some of the computer stuff to work on the different systems.
Yeah.
So that they could only enter stuff once and everybody would have it, kind of thing. But they were working together on it. I mean, there wasn't any animosity about any kind of thing like that. But then she had a second experience with the same thing Saturday night in the evening, late evening. And so they had said, if something comes up, call the ambulance right away. And so the ambulance came, and they decided that they needed to take her down to the emergency room. They did what they could in the ambulance. And so she ended up going back down and just was in the emergency room. I think she was let out like at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And has been doing just great since. I mean, whatever the situation was, they got it under control, gave her the right meds. Kind of a thing. But you look at that and you say, wow, I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to not have that service and that level of service. The confidence that, and she said that too, she said the level of confidence that she felt in everybody that was working with her and on her, she said, you can't beat it. I mean, it was great.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Yeah, the hospital employees, they really pulled through. It was really hard on them. Everyone was working double shifts. There was they had to learn 7 new systems, computer systems. I mean, it's a lot. So it's still a learning process, but they really did band together like a family.
Yeah. It was terrific.
It was rough, but yeah.
So anyway, Lisa, I'm running out of time. Thank you so much. And everybody, don't forget October 14th, Kokua for Cocoa Nuts. Give Lisa a call, 242-2630. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's purpose is to provide an opportunity for nonprofit agency directors to gain personal and professional support through cooperative development activities. Maui Nonprofit Directors also provides an opportunity for networking to affect significant positive change in the community. Oh, there's the music already. We visited with the folks from Maui United Way and with Lisa from Maui Memorial Medical Center Foundation and found out what they are up to, what's happening right now with these agencies. We want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again next week, same time, same place, on KAOI Radio, 1110 a.m., and on the FM dial at 96.7, 96.5 on the west side, and 98.7 upcountry, when we'll be featuring representatives of 2 other member agencies. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. Aloha.